Hello, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful podcast, your go to destination for insights on innovation, business, and technology. I'm your host, Professor Nitish Kumar, and in today's podcast, we are diving into a game changing force in the retail industry called artificial intelligence. In this podcast, we will explore the emerging trends in the retail industry powered by AI, how it's transforming consumer experiences, reshaping business strategies, and setting the stage for the future retail. Across the globe, AI is revolutionizing. Across the globe, AI is rejuvenating how a business operates, from personalized shopping experiences to predictive smart inventory management and automatic customer service. Retailers are leveraging AI-driven solution to enhance efficiency, improve decision making, and ultimately reshape the way we shop. But what does this mean for businesses, brands, and consumers? How are companies adapting to the shift, and what emerging trends are shaping the future of retail? To answer these questions and more, we have an expert with us today, Dr. Meeta Gavri from NIFT Mohali. Meeta Gavri, ma'am. So, the list is endless, ma'am. Well, when it comes to talking about Dr. Meeta and her contribution to the industry and education, here is a bit introduction. Dr. Meeta brings 22 years of extensive experience in the retail and fashion industry. Having worked with leading brands in the early years of her career, she has gained deep insight into market dynamics and consumer behavior. Currently, she heads the fashion marketing and management department at NIFT. With AI reshaping everything from customer experience to supply chain management, today's discussion will dive into the latest trends, challenges, and opportunities in the retail sector. We'll also discuss the latest innovations, challenges, and opportunities that AI brings to the industry. So, Dr. Meeta, welcome to the podcast again, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Mitish.
We are excited to hear insights on emerging trends in the retail industry powered by AI nowadays, ma'am.
Yes, I think that's the talk of the town, or maybe the topic of the new generation, because AI has actually taken up in a lot of areas, and retail is one area where we can say that it has actually helped the retailers as well as the consumer. So AI has actually bridged the gap between the retailing sector and the consumer. So the retailer can understand the consumer preferences, and consumer also knows that which retailer can actually fulfill their needs and wants. So it is the talk of the, everybody is talking about the same topic.
Right, ma'am. So we all know that retail has changed now. So, Dr. Meeta, let's start with the basic part. So, according to you, ma'am, how has the retail industry in India evolved over past decades?
Indian retail industry has taken up lot of heights from the past decade, I can say, because we have shifted. The shift has been from the brick and mortar concept to the online retailing, and with COVID intervening in between, so online retailing has actually taken up shape where they had tried to bring the consumer very, very close to the retailer, because most of the retailers who were just moving into the offline retailing have also gone in for the online retailing aspect, and then the products are there displayed on your screen. So a consumer who cannot shop, after 6 o'clock when the doors are closed for the retailing, you can really shop sitting at your home, sitting at your workplace, right at night also 12 o'clock. So that's the trend, and people are shopping from their home. People are shopping sitting in office, school children. So the things have also been growing. The sales volume has increased, and customer has a lot of choice. And even retailers have, they have tried to reach the global. So earlier when we were kids, I remember, so getting something from US was a big task. But nowadays you can sit here and you can order anywhere. You can get the things right at your doorstep within few days. So that's the power of AI.
So, AI is making our lives very easy.
It has made the life very easy.
And through the retail things, ma'am, they are, giving a boost to retailers as well.
Exactly.
Enhancing sales and profit.
Even the small entrepreneurs have grown up. Over the past few years, I have seen a lot of students, lot of small entrepreneurs, they have really driven to a high level. My students who had started a small business from Instagram, now they are earning, one of my students, she's earning 60,000 per month with while doing her education. So that's the power, that if you have a quality, she's good at hand painting, if you're good at calligraphy, whatever little aspect, people are earning from mandala art and, doing small things, because a lot of people, consumers are wanting the product. So if I talk about, the floral aspect, the things that are there for a wedding, those floral, they have those matha patti and all that. That's a big business. People are doing it. People are going in for zero waste. So that's also with the help of AI. And because the, the Bollywood stars, or let's say the showbiz, is also promoting that, yes, they are also into going in for zero wasting. So that is, everything is everywhere. AI is, taking up shape. So,
And ma'am, after COVID, we have seen this AI is playing a very efficient role in any sector.
in any sector.
I would here like to share a case study with you, ma'am. A few days back, I was in Elante Mall in Chandigarh, ma'am. And there was a store called Creative, K for Creative.
K for creative, right?
And ma'am, when I was there, the only single person was there and nobody was there to attend me. And when I, told them that I want to have a shirt or I want to buy a suit, so he simply asked, sir, go in that mirror.
Yes.
You will, a picture will clicked by that mirror, and
AI.
what you need, how you need your collars, your cuffs, and we will make the
They
design.
will create. That is called customization.
How you take these things into AI and from the customer.
Actually, they track data. AI actually tracks the data from your phone and from the shopping that the customer do. The retailers actually track the data, and then they will analyze that what is the, shopping experience, or what kind of colors or products a consumer likes. So then it will start showing you the similar things. So for example, let's say if we all use phones, so let's say if you're shopping at Myntra, so supposedly you like some tie or in blue color, and you just saw it, and you might have closed your phone, maybe because of time or whatever. But the moment you will open next time, it will start flashing you similar products. And you were looking off for these. So we have various options. Then you have an option, you are not, we've been not seeing you over a period of time. So there is a 500 voucher. So that is how they are alluring consumer. So consumer thinks. And secondly, what is important aspect when we talk of online retailing is that there are options of sending the product back if you don't like it. So if you buy from offline store, so then there is a hitch, how will I go? I have to go, whether he will take the product back, he will replace it or not. But then online, there is no such thing. You don't like the product, you can just put it a request.
Ramita, don't you think that we as a customer losing charm of buying with the
Depends.
introduction of AI and the digital things?
No, it depends, because AI is actually, I personally feel that it enhances the experience. You can't replace human, because human creativity will be enhanced by AI. You have to have human designers, because designers add emotions. They understand the colors, and then we can use the AI to give more better experience for the consumer in terms of variations of colors, which otherwise will take a lot of days. Let's say a designer has designed something in blue color or pink color. You might be wanting a little tint or a tone of that shade. So then AI can help you within minutes. So it ease of time also. But how we use AI, that is important. We have to maintain those ethics, those moral values.
That day, I missed that feeling, Nobody was there to attend me. Nobody, was saying, good morning, sir. How are you? How may I help you? I really missed that thing. So, ma'am, somehow AI is also helpful, and somehow.
Somehow, yes, definitely. If we talk about the personal touch and that care, yes, that's there, because that human aspect is missing.
Right.
I agree with you.
Right, Dr. Mita. So, Dr. Mita, we are in the era of artificial intelligence. So, ma'am, according to you, how AI being used to enhance customer experience, ma'am, in retail stores?
AI has actually a helpful tool if you take it from the aspect of the retailers. Why? Because AI helps in personalized shopping. and it actually tracks the preferences of the consumer. If you talk about all these sites, Amazon uses, Myntra uses, Tata Newclick, all these websites, so they will track your experience, they will track what are the preferences of the consumer, and then they will create a line of products and they will keep on repeatedly showing you which ease of the working aspect, or let's say it ease of the understanding of the styles from the aspect of the consumer. And then all the modulation of the prices are also being done depending upon the consumer preference. So consumer, they will try and give you the best possible options in terms of pricing, and they will show you the flash sales, they will show you various brands, choices. So it is easier from the consumer. Why? Because when you go for offline, so you will can visit only one store or two store. But when you are using the AI model, or when we are shopping online,
We have a Ambio at our homes. Yes, multi-brand object.
brand. Exactly. And secondly, then what you were talking about, those are called as virtual mirrors or virtual experiences, augmented and experience, which actually will take up the shape and they will tell you what will look good upon your body shape. Another, all these, if I talk about women section, so all these brands which are working in lingerie wear or which intimate wear, so that is a very beneficial tool. You don't need to try on. One is that becomes a very hassle-free product because we are talking of hygiene. So that is maintained. They will tell you, give you options, and you just have to stand in front of the virtual mirror and it will tell you what will look good upon you. So that's one. Another is the AI-driven chatbots. So that is again, they help you, solve basic queries of the consumer with regards to return, with regards to tracking of your. Then you have virtual managers who can solve smaller problems. And then again, you have your customer care services, which is connected. So AI someday is trying, we can say that it's a helpful tool. Yes, if utilized, yes, from consumer point of view.
Ma'am, let me add here a few years back when we saw the facades of the stores, or when we saw the visual merchandising things, ma'am. Visual merchandisers playing with colors, playing with props, playing with things. And now what happens, ma'am? We are having some digital windows, some LEDs. So, ma'am, how these things are helping consumers?
Digital windows, it will again vary from consumer choice, but yes, personal experience adds on when we talk of apparel and retail, apparel and accessories. So once we go to offline stores, because what you're talking is window display is a silent seller, and that's the first impression of a brand. So earlier window displays, right now also every good brand has to change after every 15 days. Let's say we go to Elante Mall, we go to PVR or any other mall in Delhi. So if you're not changing the displays, consumer has a feeling who goes for offline shopping and prefer, going to the outlets. So they will feel that yes, nothing new is there. So window display is very, very important from the aspect both the retailer, because they will put their best foot forward and they will try to show what's new in the store. And then from the consumer aspect, if he's a regular visitor, he also understands that yes, this is something new in the outlet. So that's
Let me add a case study here, everyone. Ma'am, I worked with a good brands in retail. In a year, ma'am, how they are planning their windows, they will be calling the real models. And now what I'm checking out, ma'am, we saw big LEDs, more rotating pictures only. So what is this, ma'am? Like how consumer will, and because central idea is to get the consumer into the store. Yes.
everything.
How is retailers? Why they are changing these things, ma'am?
Because you have to be with time. If you're not going to do it, 100 producers are sitting right next to you. They will do it and attract the consumer. So what new is there? One thing being adopted. Let's say we talk about Apple. Now they are the leaders in market because their R&D is very strong, and that's a social status symbol, and people are following it. So there is one person who is a leader. And in fashion, we always say we have leaders, we have followers. So if a leader has adopted any kind of platform to attract the consumer and others are not doing it, then consumer, there is no loyalty, I must tell you. I'm not being biased, but yes, the loyalty has reduced because consumer has a lot of options. So if one retailer is not able to, fulfill the needs and wants and desires of the consumer, So there are others who will say, yes, please come and buy our product, and wherever consumer will get the feeling of satisfaction and the products are as per his or her choice, he will go. So because
it means, ma'am, we have to go with the flow.
we have to go with the
We have to adapt.
yes, if we are not, then we are laggards and we will be sitting there. So we will not be able to survive. Survival of the fittest Darwin theory goes apt in our industry.
Right, Dr. Mehta. So, Dr. Mehta, now can you please throw some light on how AI is forecasting design process and how they're stimulating the customer choice?
You know, Nitish, AI has actually helped the designers in a lot of way. One thing is AI tracks the data and it, scans your Instagram, it scans your Facebook and other websites where the consumers are actually scrolling up, and it gives the feedback to the retailer. And retailer actually tracks the data, analyzes the data, and that is with the help of AI algorithms and all. And then they can understand what are the preferences and choice of consumer in terms of styles, in terms of colors, in terms of silhouettes. And then the designer will create, they can forecast based upon the trends. So once the trend is in full peak, then we analyze with the help of AI generated tools that what are the colors that consumer will be having. So you can create so that there is not much of inventory. Secondly, AI also helps a lot of brands, like if I talk about H&M, if I talk about Nike. So what are they doing? They are using AI to analyze, variations in fabric choices, the color palette, so that a lot of color options are there, then giving a personalized touch to the consumer preferences. For example, if you're wearing this blue tie, so you might be liking a little pastel shade. So AI will generate that color, and then it is easier for retailer also to create a product for the consumer. Then if I talk about Zara, Zara's fast fashion model. So they are utilizing or taking the help of AI, which helps Zara to control the inventory weekly. So they can control their inventory because it's a huge market. So all the big brands, they can't work without AI. Otherwise, it will be difficult.
If Zara is so good with the AI, then why they're not coming up with much colors?
Because that's the
All time black.
that's the USP of the brand. They are into blacks, whites, and they are into other colors.
David H&M, yes, ma'am. Yes.
So that's the USP of the brand. So they can't deviate. If I talk about Satyapal, then the USP is into prints, digital prints, So every brand or every designer will talk about their USP, and then they have to take that to the next level. Otherwise, it is a big market. So you have to have something specific, something which is apart from the others are not doing, and you have to create your own image, brand image. That we talk about in terms of brand image.
Dr. Mehta, do you really think that brands like, as you mentioned, Satyapal, and if I say Ritu Kumar, and they all design. So they use AI things or they use their own creativity?
They use a mix. Yes, they create as a designer. Even big brands have designers, And then those designers are then with the help of AI, you can create variations. Like we also teach our students the utilization like Adobe, Corel. So they create a design on paper, and then variations are taken with the help of.
Ethnicity will also gel with the AI because, when I started understanding AI, I was thinking it is only for US things and only American things. But as you are saying that the big brands like Ritu Kumar, Satyapal, or the ethnic mode brands, they are using AI.
Everybody.
In their
Every brand will be utilizing, because then color variation, let's say a designer has created in red color. So if you want to see various options in other color, so then AI comes into play, and then the designer can actually view. So it saves time also on the part. But then the cultural values, the emotions are there. If we are talking of made to order, yes, if you have to create only one product of that, then the designer has to create, and then in the AI will not be used.
That's why they're charging in much amount. My God, they are.
There is no limit for design. Creativity, you can't really judge.
We can't measure and we can't have the bid for the creativity. Yes.
If you have money and you are so passionate about what you wear, then you are there to pay, and there are designers to create a product for you.
Right, man. Some actresses like Deepika Padukone and other actresses, why they only want to buy Sabyasachi and other brands, and why Sabyasachi is charging much amount for?
Because he's giving you what you want. He's creating out of the box designs, and then he is a popular choice among the Bollywood. But his journey is, he has gone a long way. He didn't have money even to pay for his college fees, and then he bought, I think, if I'm not wrong, 20,000 from his sister to start the business of clothing. But then he has the sense of design. So from his hard work, he's here. Now all the Bollywood actress stars, they are wearing Sabyasachi, and he's been awarded the Designer of the Decade award of late. He's been given that award. So there is a lot of story. What we see, there's a lot of hard work behind that in front of the designers.
So according to you, Sabyasachi is using AI in retail?
He might be using, I have no clue about it. Yes, but yes, somewhere, maybe small percentage he might be using. That we need to ask Sabyasachi.
Definitely, ma'am. Through you, I will love to meet him.
Make a visit.
Dr. Mehta, now my major concern is like how AI is, sustain fashion and the trends into the retail sector in the market.
There is actually being a lot of support to the retailers, like we talked about Zara, that they are able to, it has helped in reducing overproduction. So when you track the data and what are the colors, preferences, and the choices of the consumer, what consumer is demanding in the market. So retailers also know that yes, this is what has to be created. So that helps them in reducing the overproduction, and something which is not being utilized or which is not being liked by the consumer, you will not produce. So that's a benefit that we are working towards the environmental sustainability, and AI generated, all these technologies, they help in upcycling, recycling. Like H&M had started, you must be knowing that you give away your old clothes, they will regenerate and utilize. So all these companies are working towards the environmental impact and sustainability factor. Because then if we are not going to save our earth, then who's going to do it? Because textile industry waste was the largest that was considered earlier. So we have to work towards a sustainable.
This IT waste and then your retail waste are much.
We really need to work upon that. There are a lot of brands have set up who says that yes, whatever you worn in your trousseau or your engagement parties or big parties, and you don't want to use it, then you can give those clothes. They will give you money. They will refurbish it, redesign it, and somebody else can buy it.
Okay.
That's again a new trend in fashion.
Sarojini Nagar market is the same example of.
No. There are a lot of people who have started entrepreneurs where, let's say, you have a lot of clothes and now you don't want to wear it again and again, repeatedly. So you can sell those clothes. So the organization will refurbish it. They will dry clean or whatever they want to do it, and then they will again put that on sale, and somebody else can buy it.
So, ma'am, what is happening in that market? The elements, because Sarojini Nagar is showing the elements of grey market, ma'am.
That's a different Sarojini Nagar market is creating to a different segment.
Because what I, come to understand that you will be getting big brands or the very,
We don't get big brands. That's all labeled, and
what exactly the market is this, ma'am?
that's a mass marketing strategy where they, the overproductions from the industry. Generally, they buy the overproductions or past year, whatever inventory the brands are having. So they just give it off to those people. And sometimes it is not real also. They just buy the labels and put the tags on it. So they are not real brands at times. Very, very less sellers will be there who will be actually selling the inventory.
Can you just educate me, like what is the first copy things and second copies, elements of grey market? I'm again saying.
First copy is something which is an exact copy of the original designer product.
Bring the same fabric and the same.
Not really. You can't have the same.
They are saying first.
Because that is the closest that you will not be able to judge whether it is original or not. but then it is not being created by the designer. So that has taken up because people who want to flaunt and people who want to say that, yes, I am wearing Coach, I am having Armani, and you can't actually buy. So that's again another market for it.
And Dr. Mita, cutting the tags and putting them onto different clothes. So what is that elements?
Small vendors are doing it because, it's what we are talking of, the masses.
Some brands are not flaunting their brand names. I must
Big brands will not flaunt, and what we get in Sarojini Nagar, or they are not original. They might be saying, but I am not very sure about it, because then the brand authenticity will be lost. Why will people go to original brand and buy it from the offline retail? So masses in India, they want, and
Dr. Mita, I will not, taking the names here, but the good stores in Mohali or in Sector 9 somewhere, they are they are selling. So what they are selling, and they are
those
saying that yes,
they are original.
original, and if you go into the stores, they will say yes.
It might be at times they have half original product, but they are not of the new season. You will never find the product of a brand new season product. That will be available only in the store. But then they are buying it from the producers who are manufacturing for those particular brands. It might be 4 years, 5 years back, that inventory of the original brand, and that they are selling. So that is original but not new season product. That's not in fashion, but yes, people who actually want to buy a brand, they can. And half of their products, I actually had a word with the owner. So half of their products, they are not original. They are just putting up tags, making a similar look. All these tags of all these brands, if you go to Chandni Chowk market, I never wanted to take the name, but yes, you will find all the tags there of all the brands. Name a brand and you will find a tag there. So that is the key. It is very, very difficult to actually judge the real unless and until you have the, actual knowledge of the feel of the fabric and the understanding of the logo.
Our viewers want to know that there are some laws to stop that discrimination.
We can't. I don't think that you can really stop at, because
Yeah, because if I am Dr. Mita brand, and and I am selling your name or your brand in just like,
I can sue you in consumer court.
so why the brands are not stopping those?
And because then there is a little difference. Let's say a smallest example I will give. Nike has a swoosh. So the actual swoosh, what everybody calls it as a tick, or a right. So it has to be in the same balance. The point has to be, but nobody knows that, because I work for Nike. We know the kind of threads and everything. So nobody will see that it is the actual swoosh. So people say that yes, Nike swoosh is there, it is Nike, but that's not original Nike. So it is difficult, but then brands can't say, because when they go and identify it, it will never match the original brand logo.
So Dr. Mita, my next question to you is, what are the key benefits and challenges of using consumer data driven personalization?
Benefits, yes, that if consumer allows, all the retailers have to be very, very ethical when they are using the data of consumers, because then they have to be transparent, so that they can build the trust in consumer. You must have seen that every time you are using a site, they tell you that your data will be kept personalized and it will only for the personal information will be taken care of for the personal use of the brand. So that builds the trust. If you're not utilizing the data in the wrong manner, then consumer has no worries of giving their data. But then if we talk about our industry, what data are we trying to have? The past history, what is the experience, and maybe the stature of the individual, that how a product will look upon him or her. So that is the entire thing. Otherwise, what else data the retailers are going to have in apparel?
Your birthdays, your anniversary.
So that they can give you gift cards. That's a scheme, that's a way of promoting. Strategies
to bring the customer again.
They have to bring the customer, and they have to actually enhance the experience of the customer, so that customer feels, yes, this is a site I want to buy, or this is a retail outlet, I love shopping. So that is the key goal of branding.
So according to Dr. Meeta, customers, you are safe and your data is safe. So don't just worry about your data and your personal things. So Dr. Meeta, the concluding question and the last question for the podcast session, and the question is, what does the future of AI-driven retail look like in 10 more years?
Nitish, already we are moving quite ahead of time, and if you go to foreign country, US and China, we will be seeing, but we are also adopting in India. So basically what AI is already working on, it will be going into deep learning into that. Let's say virtualized, personalized clothing, where the AI might, take up the styles, the color preferences, and then create a product, and it will show you right there within minutes that this is the product you might be liking, and giving you a lot of options. You can select, and maybe within day or two the product will be delivered, or maybe by evening only the product might be delivered.
Few hours, ma'am.
In few hours, yes, because or it might help you creating your own garment only. You might interact with the chatbot, virtual designers, and they will try and create a product as per your choice, and within hours
I can say I can be a fashion designer.
you are already. Yeah, anybody who is into retail and designing plays a role in every area, not only in apparel, but any product you take, design goes into it. The colors, talk about furniture, if you talk about this mug. So every aspect designing is there. Whatever you think, you can think of.
Without AI, we can't see retail in.
It helps, yes. In near future, no, because we are also, as consumer, we are used to it, of having options, having choices in various products, in various styles. And if you take away from that, then obviously consumer will hit the retailer back that yes, what is this? So we can't move ahead. Now AI is the in thing, but yes, that personal touch of human will be there in apparel industry. Because without human intervention, apparel industry cannot move on.
From any industry, I must say.
No, in automated industry, if you talk about cars and all, then human intervention is very less because they have a lot of machines. But if you specifically talk about apparel, so human intervention has to be there. The thing you talked in the starting, that personal touch, we have to have that personal touch for the.
We'll be getting that touch in those coming up years.
We will be, because that is the main essence of creativity.
AI is not replacing that touch.
It will enhance.
Will enhance.
Yes, it will help in enhancing that personal touch given by the designers. Otherwise, there will be the designers. So that is it.
Any final words for our viewers and for our students?
Hope the students have enjoyed the conversation, and maybe it is beneficial for all the students who are thinking of opening their own entrepreneur or opening up their own outlets, and they might have good takeaways from this session.
Industries are there for them.
Retail industry will always go. It will go. Yes. Anybody can earn his or her own bread and butter through this industry. Nobody will die.
Right.
Thank you so much.
So, everyone, as we come to the end of this insightful discussion, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to Dr. Meeta
Thank you so much.
for sharing her expertise and deep insights on emerging trends in the retail industry powered by AI. Ma'am, your knowledge and your perspective have truly shed light on how AI is transforming the retail sector from personalized shopping experiences to smarter supply chains and data-driven making. A big thank to all our listeners for tuning in. I hope you find this conversation valuable and thought-provoking. For everyone, stay curious, stay informed. Until next time. So this is Professor Nitish Kumar signing off. Take care and see you in the next episode. Thank you.